Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Tex Pat Robert Rice, and I am live. So, what's been going on, everybody, since my last live broadcast, which was quite a while ago? I was told by Catherine from Cat's 21 Adventures that I should do a live broadcast minimum of once a week. But I got a lot of things on my plate right now, and I can't do a live broadcast once a week. It is optimal to try to do one at least once a day. That's even what YouTube says, but I can't do that. I just have too much to do, and it seems like I just don't ever have enough time to do it. So here I am. I'm going to try to let this be your corner so that you can ask me questions. And what I did was I put a notice on my Facebook that I was about to do live. But I have noticed that when I post a video that I've done for YouTube onto my Facebook, I'll get a lot of likes for it, especially in the story, but I don't get a lot of watches. And so if you hear the dings, it's usually my Facebook notifications going on. I'm waiting for my tablet to catch up with the internet here. I have an older tablet. It's a Generation 1 Apple iPad. And I did my last video with it. That was the cooking video on the tilapia. And so it was hard to handle and do the video because for me to do the cooking, I had to do one hand and hold the tablet. And this thing is, it's pretty big. I mean, you look at it, it's really big. So it's not a smaller tablet. And I don't have a device that I can hold the tablet at different angles while I'm doing something, like I would, say, my GoPro or my selfie stick for my camera. So how is everybody doing in their country, in their city, in their how is everybody doing in their quarantine issues? A friend of mine in Angeles City said they are now opening up jeepney and tricycle for transportation, but only half the jeepneys and half the tricycles are going to be allowed. And if you're going to use your tricycle, you have to have it registered. The license plates have to be registered. You have to register it as a transportation vehicle to take people back and forth. And you have to have a valid driver's license. And you can only have one person in the tricycle, and they have to sit in the cab, in that third wheel. Jeepney, according to Brian, is he said that the jeepneys there will be able to operate. However, if they have a capacity of 18 in the jeepney, then they'll only have half capacity. They can only carry 9 passengers. And it will be enforced by the traffic police and the P&P. So if they see a jeepney fully loaded, they will confiscate the jeepney. It will go to the municipal hall, and they will have to pay a fine to get their jeepney back. And of course, the jeepney has to be registered with a valid company. You know, this is how they're doing it in Angeles City. So you cannot be an independent jeepney driver anymore in Angeles City, or for that matter, a tricycle driver. You have to belong to a company. And you know, and that's just common sense, because with a company, they got your back. And, you know, so if anything happens, you know, yeah, I'm sure you're going to need insurance, and the company may provide it. So you're going to have to pay insurance out of your fares, and you might have to pay the company out of your fares, but you're licensed, you're registered. And so that's the way it's going there in Angeles City. In other parts, you know, like in Bohol or some of these other islands, Samar, Bilaran, I don't know what's going on with there. I haven't heard anything as far as what people are doing, as far as travel restrictions are going on. I do know that in Bohol they're probably a little more relaxed on things, simply because there's no cases on the island. They sealed off that island really quick as soon as the first cases started hitting Cebu. So the Coast Guard has been going back and forth through the waterways to keep people from staying or from going to where they're not supposed to go. So if, for example, if you're in Cebu and you got family in Bohol, let's say Tagbilaran, then you're not going to be able to go see them, because the Coast Guard's not letting the ferries go through. However, life seems to be pretty much normal over there, from what I've been able to understand. I follow a couple of, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 YouTube channels from Bohol, and I get a good understanding of what's going on over there. If you're alive, if you're watching me, please let me know. I don't have a way right now to be able to tell if anybody is there. I cannot tell if anybody is there or if any my tablet's not, apparently it's decided not going to connect to the internet today. It just depends on how strong the yeah, it's not even showing the live stream. It just depends on how strong the internet is. So if you have a question, go ahead and try to send it. And I'm using CameraFi Live because I don't have the subscribers to go straight from YouTube Live. So I have to do it this way. But I am unsure. I'm kind of unsure about how this all works. I know I can go live and no, that's not what I wanted. Come on. There we go. So, how are you doing? How's everybody doing? You know, I've got 5,000 friends on Facebook. If I can get all 5,000 people to subscribe to my channel, I would be happy. Just to kind of let you know, I got 2 projects in the work that I'm working on. One is a project that has been ongoing for at least 2 years now. I was hoping to have it up and on YouTube about 1.5 years ago. But I ran into some issues, one with my laptop, and 2, I ran into some issues with finding out information. And so that project is called GOG, G-O-G. Who is GOG? GOG is a fallen angel or a demon. They're 2 different. Fallen angels and demons are 2 different things. So it's either a fallen angel or a demon. That will launch the attack against Israel with several other nations that surround Israel. So we're talking Arabic nations. In fact, he'll try to do it twice. And one time will be at the very end, just before the Great White Throne Judgment. And that will be the final battle, not the Armageddon. Armageddon is not the final battle. It's just the battle where Jesus Christ comes and he defeats the armies of the world. And you got to think how silly it is to think that the military might of this world can defeat God, because that's who Jesus Christ is. He's God in the flesh. So how in the world can someone think that they can beat God with tanks, planes, and rockets and guns? because it says that the armies of the Antichrist will turn to face Jesus Christ coming down from heaven with his armies. And you got to kind of figure the lunacy of that thought. They already had seen 7 years before, or I'm sorry, 3.5 years before, they have already seen the rapture. They had witnessed it. And let me tell you something, the rapture is not going to be a secret poof and you just disappear. That's not what the Bible says. It's an in-your-face devil. It's the Lord putting it out there for all to see. You know, you can find that in Matthew chapter 24. Down at the bottom of the chapter. You can find it in Revelation chapter 6. It's going to be something for all to see, and I think it's going to be a spectacular event. And they had already just seen that 3.5 years before this. And they're thinking that now they're going to be able to fight God at the Battle of Armageddon. That, you know, after just seeing that, the attention and the memory of the people there must be almost the size of a gnat if they think that they can do something like that. Now, the first project that I am working on, and it's a project in working, is Gog. Who is Gog? What is the Magog War? And what is its purpose? What are the political, the socio-economical, and the religious factors involved of that war? The other project I have, which I've just started, doesn't require current event situations for me to have to sift through. It is on Nimrod. Nimrod is that enigmatic figure in Genesis 10. He's only spoken of in a couple of verses as far as Nimrod is concerned, the word Nimrod. The word Nimrod means rebel or rebellion. And in doing so, I'm looking up, you know, what did the Jews say about it in the Midrash? What are what are other books, you know, books that are not in the Bible, but people do read them, like the book of Jubilees, the book of Jasher. Jasher is mentioned twice in the Bible, in two different places, as, you know, are these things not written in the book of Jasher? So I would think that if that book is written and it's been mentioned by Scripture, I think even though we cannot count it as Scripture, we can look at it and as a history book. And that's the same with any of the Apocrypha. You know, we know about the Maccabean Wars through the books of the Maccabees, where where the Jews fought for their independence, basically from the Seleucid Empire. And what happened was that the leader of the Seleucid Empire, Epiphanes, he went in, killed the priests in the temple, and sacrificed a pig on the altar, which under Hebrew law would be an unclean animal. And then he went and set up his throne in the Holy of Holies. So we find that as a forerunner as to the Antichrist himself. We see it played out in history, first prophesied by Daniel 250 years before that this would happen. But he was also prophesying about a further event, because Jesus, speaking to his disciples in Matthew 24, tells them, when you see these things as spoken of by Daniel the prophet come to pass. So he's telling them it hasn't actually happened yet, but it's still a future event that's going to take place. And of course, the apostles will never see it, at least not in the context of living here on the earth. But we'll see it, because when Jesus speaks to his disciples, he's speaking to us by extension, because we are the disciples of Christ also. And so we need to pay attention to what Jesus told them about what's going to happen in the end of days. I can't tell if anybody's even on this thing. Put a message up, see if I can see it, if anybody is there. But those are my projects: Nimrod and Gog. Nimrod is easy, pretty much easy, because I can go through all the historical data, and I've got some contacts with the academia.edu, which are biblical scholars, and they go through the ancient stories, the ancient languages, and pieced these things together. I can't read cuneiform, any form of it at all. I cannot read Sumerian. So they would go through all of this. Interesting to note, Nimrod does have an actual name. Nimrod is a title, and I'm not going to tell you about it because you'll have to watch the video. So I was going to use my tablet to be able to see if anybody's going to say anything or make a comment or something. But it's having a problem right now the signal can get, where I'm at, the signal can get too weak for it to pick up sometimes. And I don't have a SIM card for the tablet, so I have to pick up on Wi-Fi. So how's everyone doing? If you could, if you're watching, I can't tell if you are because I can't, it doesn't show me anything. This app doesn't show me anything. So, I mean, I can, yeah, I just can't, I can't see anything other than I can see myself on the view screen. I can see that it's a public video. But I can't see if anybody's there. But I tell you what, that tilapia sure was good. Usually when I make tilapia, I'll fry it. But I wanted to bake it this time. And so if you get a chance, watch that video of cooking tilapia with rice. I'm a big fan of rice. It's my last name, but you know, just like I said in the video, rice just plain has no flavor to it. And I like to, sometimes I'll eat it just like it is, you know, like if I'll mix it with scrambled egg, you know, for breakfast, and stuff like that. You know, I can make a stew, or I can make a chili, and then I will put it on the rice. But for the most cause, if I'm eating rice in a separate thing, you know, I like to do things like put some butter in it and give it a buttery flavor. Put some chicken bouillon in the water, so give it a chicken flavor. I like it with gravy. I like to add fresh vegetables to it. You're still eating the rice, and it's still rice, but you flavor it up a little bit, you know, because really rice has no flavor. I mean, you can salt and pepper it, but and that's seasoning it, and that'll work. But rice of itself has no flavor, you know. So I always will do stuff. Sometimes I'll add a can of tomato sauce, a little bit of chili powder, and a little bit of paprika, and throw in some green beans and some peas, you know, things like that. All right. And I don't know if anybody can see, I just had something flash on my screen. But I love to cook. Cooking is almost like a passion. Many years ago, I worked at a place called Two Generations. It was a bistro, and the chef was a 5-star chef, and he taught a lot about how to use spices, and he encouraged us to create something. And if he liked it, and he would tell you if he liked it or not. You know, if he liked it, he would simply he would put it up on the menu, and you got paid for as long as you worked there. You got paid so much for that item that they put on the menu. And but he taught us how to cook, how to use spices, and you don't have to overpower your food with spices. A lot of times it's just a little hint of that spice is all you need. And you know, so that was some good training. I tell you what, that was good training. And to be able to cook, and you know, and not just for yourself, but for others. You should cook for yourself like you're cooking for someone else. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. No, that's not what I wanted. I guess nobody's on because I'm supposed to be able to see chat on this thing. It should be like a little translucent window that pops up that I should be able to see it. But I can't tell. And my laptop is just not behaving. I mean, my tablet. Well, y'all just sit here for a while. I'm going to go grab me something to drink real quick, and I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water hot so I can make some coffee. Okay, I just put on the water to boil. I don't have a coffee maker. I just have to put water on to boil, and I got some instant coffee, so I'll make some coffee. Tell you what, I had a leftover rice from my cooking the tilapia. I just made that like 2 days ago. And I used that leftover rice, and I made another meal with it. And in fact, I made the first time I just added water and some chicken into it and heated it up and threw in a little bit of salt and pepper, and that was good. But tonight, what I did was here we go. Tonight, what I did was I added, I went and made fried rice and added egg to it, and man, I tell you what, I like fried rice with chicken, and so I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Like I said, I love to cook, and I can take leftovers and turn them into something else. I may do another video later, you know, maybe making hamburgers. It won't be on a grill, but it will be, you know, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I like to stand there with the hamburger when it's cooking, because you can only have it on one side for so long and another side for so long, so you can't just get up and walk away from it. And my tablet is now online. I have gained a subscriber. I had lost one 2 weeks ago. I am now up to 60 subscribers. I have gained a subscriber. I had lost one 2 weeks ago. Awesome. I am now up to 60. I'm going to turn the sound down. There we go. There's a slight delay. So if you've got a comment that you would like to ask, then go ahead and ask. I don't see live comments. At least you can put your comments down on the comments section, because I don't see any. I don't see where it, it's giving me the option. Here we go. Here's the chat. So, what has anybody got to think or say? I do other things other than Bible study, in my life. Um, I'm definitely trying to get my weight down. I'm going to be 60 in June, and it's harder to keep the weight off as the older you get, especially with Americans. So if anybody, I've got a workout plan, for workout, and a food plan, a nutrition plan. So, all that's, going on. It says I have one watching now, and it's probably my tablet, because I have it set on my my YouTube channel so that I can see the chats. So anyways, if you've got questions, you can go ahead and ask them. I just want to say to my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, I just want to say to them, I call them my in-laws. They are family to me. I help support them when they need the support. But they had a bumper crop this year. God really blessed their crop this year, and both in the corn and the rice. And I tell you something, God bless them. They've done wonderful things. The whole area up there in Cagayan Valley is just, the people are just so nice. Now, if you go to a place in town, you go to the municipal hall or anything like that, they're not going to speak Tagalog. They're going to speak Ilocano. That is their dialect, and they're very proud of it. And I guess if you are a Tagalog speaker, they can communicate with you. But if it's given their choice, they're going to speak Ilocano. Like, say, for example, good morning in Tagalog is Magandang Umaga. And in Ilocano, it's Naimbag na Bigat. So it's kind of interesting. There is Spanish words in Ilocano, not as much as there is in Tagalog. And Tagalog is full of Spanish loanwords. And they call them loanwords because that's where they came from. Sigue, puede, problema, all these words, you can tell they're Spanish because they don't sound like the regular language. And two is Spain ruled the Philippines for 400 years. And so it would be inevitable that Spanish words would mix in with the local dialects. But and you'll see in maybe in Bisayan, because I've been listening to some Bisayan and also some Cebuano. You don't have as much Spanish loanwords there. I think it's just like Ilocano. You don't have the Spanish loanwords so much there. There are some, but, and most of them are biblical. Dios for God, things like that. But you really don't have that much Spanish loanwords, and not as much as you do in Tagalog, which is the official language. So if you're a Spanish speaker, if you listen closely to Tagalog, you can hear the Spanish words and you can almost tell what they're talking about, because it's that would help you out. Now, as I understand it, there are places there in the Philippines where they only speak Spanish. The Spanish is their dialect there. I guess that's where most of the Spaniards, when they were ruling Spain, that's where they lived and everything like that. So there will be a lot of Spanish spoken over there. In that part of the Philippines. So is anybody here from Tuguegarao, Apari, Vigan, Ilocos, Santana, Union City,